This was supposed to be a love letter. I wanted to start this channel by talking about a racing game I truly, deeply care about, and that's always been Need for Speed The Run to me. Like, for the last 10 years, I loved this game so much, and I know it has problems, of course I do, but I gladly went in to defend this game, because the pure concept behind it is so incredible to me. But after this recent playthrough, this game just broke me, like seriously. Everything about it is so disappointing and frustrating to me, and it got to a point where I think Need for Speed The Run shows me everything wrong with Need for Speed as a franchise, EA as a company, and the gaming industry as a whole. Like, this game feels like a personal insult to me right now. Especially because it has so much potential. It had the potential to be amazing, to be one of the most memorable racing games of all time, but it's wasted entirely. Every single part about this game besides the concept is disappointing and half-assed. And I feel confident in saying Need for Speed The Run is the most frustrating racing game experience I've ever had. So please feel free to lay down and listen to me ranting about the many problems this game has. After many open world underground Need for Speed titles that people grew up to love, Need for Speed The Run tried to do something differently. It opted for a linear story and just track sections instead of an actual open world, which gave us the opportunity to drive on an actual race through the entirety of the USA, which is just amazing, and it presented us with these like interactive cutscenes, which is the most memorable part about this game, and I think is the most important point that made me fall in love with it. Like, this is insane. The opening to this game is incredible. Like, I didn't have a computer at the time, and I also didn't have like any game console besides the Nintendo DS to play like Brain Age on it, so I wasn't around to witness how that must have felt back then. But installing your new Need for Speed title in the year 2011, opening it, and then seeing this, like this ominous cutscene where you at first don't really know where it's going, and then realizing, look, your character is in a car that's about to be crushed, and you have to crawl out of it using quick time events. I think that must have been genuinely amazing, because I'm certain no other racing game before or since tried this. Like, at least no Need for Speed game, and this is incredible. I don't know why there's not more of it, because why have racing games always feel the need to just be in the car? Like, I don't need a GTA experience. I don't have to walk around on foot in an open world. That wouldn't make sense. But like, some small sections on foot make me connect with the character more, with the world more, and make me feel more immersed in the world, because it feels like I'm an actual person and not just driving a car, you know what I mean? Maybe I'm alone with that, but I think this opening is incredible, and the first two races are also really good. Like, this race over, what's it called? Like, this first race over a junkyard, being chased by people who are shooting at you, and nearly managing to, like, get across this train track before you're getting crushed by a train. This is incredible stuff, especially for a Need for Speed game. Like, this is a really strong opening. And then, like, racing through San Francisco, a really cool setting for every racing game, and jumping the Golden Gate Bridge. Are you kidding me? This is incredible. Too bad the rest of the game isn't that. There are points in this game that are genuinely just breathtaking. This race down like a glacier where there are multiple... God, I'm a native German, what's it called? Avalanches. There are multiple avalanches desperately trying to end you. It's incredible! Like, this is so unique, such an amazing idea, and I will love sections like these till the end of my days, because that's what I wanted Need for Speed The Run to be. This is what I want from a racing game. Like, not every game, of course, but something crazy, something unique, something that feels like an interactive action movie, and Need for Speed The Run delivers in that, like 10% of the time maybe, and the rest just in comparison feels like filler, like driving through a countryside. Great, driving through an icy highway. Amazing stuff. The story of this game is you're Jack. You, I guess, have money problems because the mob is behind you. The story never gets deeper than that. Obviously, why should it? You have some sort of friend. I don't know what's your connection with her, but she gets you into a race where you can win 25 million if you finish first in New York City. So you drive across the country. That's the story, my guys. Like, that's the full extent of it. There's one guy they want to make the bad guy of. I guess he's from the mob. I don't care. I'm not reading your text messages, EA. Maybe you give me an actual cutscene that delivers me with some actual like character development and stuff. I will not read your text messages. I am opposed to this. This is not storytelling. This is not enough. This is insulting stuff. Like, dude, these are just cars with like nameless faces in it. Just giving me a bunch of text before every race will not fix that. Not at all. And like giving me 4 cutscenes through the entire game where this guy rams me in the back and then just f***s off again so I can beat him in the finale is just not doing anything for me. I'm sorry. And the amount of cutscenes, like I think the first actual cutscene is pretty cool. And there are some in between, especially the interactive ones are pretty cool. And I mean, there are 3 of them. One is really short, so that barely counts. Like, there are 2 of them, and one isn't even in the finale or something. It feels so half-assed. And yeah, like, the story also just ends. There's no conclusion to anything. Like, I know it's not necessary, but it would have been nice. Like, imagine this game with an actual story. Something like Uncharted that also has a linear story. Something with characters I actually care about. That could be amazing, but no. The few cutscenes we have boil down to, oh, Jack looks at the booty of an attractive woman. Amazing stuff. Like, at that point, just cut all the cutscenes. Like, who cares at this point? Ah. And some races just have useless cutscenes, like entirely useless ones, where you really don't know what the game is trying to tell you at all. And most of the other races just start. Just like, here's your car, and here's what you have to do. Like, overtake 10 guys, I guess. And I really don't know what's better, because I want the effort of cutscenes, but if the cutscenes look like this, yeah, you can kind of skip them. Like, I kind of don't care at this point. I guess not doing as much of them is the right call at this point. Besides the interactive cutscenes, what's most unique about this game is its setting, because you're actually driving through the entirety of the USA, and you see, like, glaciers, mountainsides, countryside, cities. And that's really, really cool. Problem with it is that it feels really hollow and disconnected. Like, I always like to see this game as a sort of road trip experience, but on this recent playthrough, I just couldn't. Like, what sells me a bit about it is the variety and also the music. You have really cool licensed music that can set a mood and feels like you're on a road trip. And we also have a really cool original score by Brian Tyler, who is a really amazing guy when it comes to like video game score. Like, he did the Super Mario Bros. Movie score that is actually really cool. The problem is, one stage ends and you're just in the next. Like, I would compare this game more to a Mario Kart Grand Prix than to an actual story-driven game. Because, like, right in the first chapter, I end my race on the Golden Gate Bridge and then I'm just in a countryside. Or, the worst example about this, I'm racing down a glacier, escaping avalanches, trying to not die. And I finish the race, and next time I'm seeing my character, I'm just in a countryside. I'm just somewhere. It's not snow anymore, it's just green, there are no mountains anymore, I'm just casually driving around there. You barely ever see the terrain evolving. It's just like, the game is separated in 10 chapters, and like, this is the grassland chapter, this is the icy chapter, this is the city chapter. And that's really disappointing. Also, with stuff like, you don't really get consistent antagonists. Like, you see a number getting smaller, you know you're getting more and more to, like, the head of the race car group. I don't know what to call it. You're getting closer and closer to first place is what I mean. But it doesn't really feel rewarding. It's just numbers going down. It's not like you, I don't know, see some of the drivers again. Like, how would you when there's no actual cutscenes and you barely like notice the different cars? They also barely evolve. It's not like, yeah, okay, on place 200 you're driving against more like casual cars, maybe people who drive their, I don't know, Toyota Avensis to work and decided to take place in this race. And when you get more like to the top 50 racers, it's actual supercars you're driving against. No, it's just always the same cars. So there's a real disconnect as well. And I take issue with the fact that in some races you are trying to escape the cops and then you finish the race and then in the next race you just escape them. Like, I don't think in any race in this game you actually escape the cops. Like, you try to escape them, but you never actually do. You always do it off screen. And I take really big issue with the fact that on the bottom of the screen, the game tells you that you like crossed 4,500 kilometers while you actually only played this game for nearly 2 hours. And you feel like, okay, did I? Because the longest race in this game is 13 kilometers long. Every hour race is like 5 to 7, I think. Maybe 9 if you feel really lucky. And it feels so short. It actually feels like a Mario Kart Grand Prix. You're just dropping in, doing your race and f***ing off again. But the stages inside a chapter all feel the same. Like, there's most of the time there's 2 that feel different. The first one just because it's a new environment, and the one they put the most effort in, like the avalanche one, for example, or the helicopter one, or the getting chased through Chicago one. The other ones are completely forgettable. So I don't know, it just feels like filler. And honestly, I've been on total autopilot at least half of the game, but I'd say like 7 chapters out of the 10 there are. I don't know. And what's really insulting to me is that this game is really short. I always defended it, but genuinely proudly presenting the time, proudly presenting that the 9th chapter was 9 minutes long and you should compare your time to your friends is pretty embarrassing. It took 2 hours and 8 minutes to finish this game. And I f***ed up a lot. Like, I crashed a lot. I restarted a lot of stages. 13 minutes. 11. 14. 12. 15. 12. 12. 11. 9. And 15. Insanity. Absolute insanity. But what makes it even worse is that they couldn't even fill 2 hours of gameplay with tracks. It's the most apparent in the Chicago one. Like, okay, you can excuse it. In some stages, you just can't. Like, in some stages, you're just driving on the same track part 2 times in a row. And there's no story reason to excuse that. At least in Chicago, where it's the most noticeable, you can excuse it with story factors, okay? You're driving your race, then you're getting chased back, and then you're driving the race again. But it's so lazy. Like, 3 races in a row are genuinely the same track. I'm driving it forwards, backwards, and forwards again. And it's so noticeable. Fights, Digga, das Game ist vielleicht 2,5... Okay, I'm doing this in English so I can cut it in. This game is maybe like 2.5 hours long at tops. And I'm seeing this section of the road for the 3rd time now. That's insane. Like, that's insanity. Program more roads. There's not even 2.5 hours worth of content in this game that was $50. My God. And this race ends at the same... at the exact same spot as the one before did. Oh. And for a game to have this lacking of content, it's also just disappointing that it looks bad. Like, really bad. And I noticed a lot of glitches and also this cutscene in the end. Like, you finish the game, it's barely rewarding as is. And then you are forced to watch this pre-rendered cutscene that looks like a fever dream. Like, what the f***? What I also really don't understand is your selection of cars, because there are quite a lot of cars in the game, but you're not allowed to use them in the story mode for some reason. Like, you have like 10 cars you can choose from. Okay, first of all, you have a cutscene where you can choose one of 5 cars in the beginning, and that's cool. Like, I appreciate it, but it immediately gets me out of the immersion of playing a video game when I can't choose 2 of them because they are locked behind a limited edition. A limited edition I own on Xbox 360, but I still, in my entire life, I've never been able to unlock one of these cars. I don't know what I have to do. Okay, for 8 chapters, I can only choose between the same 10 cars. And then there are like cutscenes where I can choose cars after mine got destroyed, but it's still one of the 10 cars. Like, isn't that an opportunity to give me another car? One I haven't seen before? Like, what if I'd already driven this car? What if that's the car that got destroyed the scene earlier, and now I'm just choosing the same car again? Like, wow, incredible, feels really immersive, thank God. And then in chapter 9, I get some new cars for no reason. Like, at that point, I don't care anymore. And also, why is there like a Renault and a Subaru in it when there's no like Mercedes or stuff? Like, I don't really care about Mercedes, but put in the cars that have to be there before you get like quirky with a rally car in the finale of this game. I don't get the car selection, because for these damn online races, you can use a lot of different cars and you can unlock a lot of them. And hey, who knows, maybe I can unlock more cars for the run thing. But I really don't care about checking, because I should unlock them naturally and in a way that feels earnest and understandable. But instead, I'm only unlocking profile pictures and stuff with the XP I'm collecting. Like, I don't give a damn about this at all. Why am I not unlocking cars? Or why then don't give me the option to change cars? It's so confusing to me. It's really confusing, and it all feels so hollow. Like, okay, of course you're just driving on one road. That's the nature of the game. You don't have an open world, and that's fine. That gives me more options, I'd say. But still, most of the tracks feel so hollow, because you can just see that there's nothing on the left and the right of the track. Like, there's nothing in this world. Nothing. There's nothing happening. It doesn't feel alive at all. You only see like 10 different NPC cars at most. Maybe it's only like 5. It gets so jarring. The police also feels kind of more hollow than in every other game. Maybe just because there would have been an opportunity to just make them more aggressive. Maybe they get caught on the fact that a big race through the entirety of the USA is happening, so they try to stop it and they get increasingly more aggressive about it. But no, sometimes they're there and sometimes they're not. Sometimes they just drive on your side of the road and then block your road, and before you could have possibly reacted to anything. Dude, like, what the f***? How am I supposed to dodge that? Don't just drive on my side of the road, man. What's that about? That's something this game really likes to do. Giving you a scenario that you could have not... That's impossible to manage on your first try. Some races you just have to drive once, f*** up, and then, like, remember the track. Otherwise, it's not possible. Oh, great! Great! There's like one lamppost I can destroy in this game where I can drive through everything. There's like exactly at the place where I'm supposed to go, there's one lamppost I can't destroy. That's great! I hate this game. And with that, I also want to mention, like, who is this race for? Like, it's more than 200 drivers driving through the entirety of the USA trying to win 25 million bucks. Why? Who organized this? Who keeps track of like the numbers and everyone playing somewhat fair? And I don't know who planned the race track and who set up like these flares and who will award you when you win. Like, we never get an answer to that. And I know we don't need to, but if that's the excuse for everything, you kind of don't need to make this game in the first place. You know what I mean? If your excuse to everything is like, yeah, you don't really need that. Yeah, okay, but then don't do a linear story-driven Need for Speed title, you know? Because that stuff I would have appreciated to know, like, some sense of what is this race, who's it for, you know what I mean? I don't know. And why is the finale so bad? Like, okay, this section with the tram, is it called a tram? No, it's not a tram, it's a subway. That's kind of cool. It is, like, it's a pretty glitchy, honestly. I don't know how you can f up this bad, but okay, I guess. And then you just drive through a shipping yard and end the race in a hollow, just in like a hall. Yay! I'm in a warehouse with no one, with no cameras, celebration, fireworks, a guy giving me money for the fact that I won? What's this, man? It's just a warehouse! God damn it, this game is going to end me! Yeah, and this game has barely any replay value, honestly, because the tracks are just too boring. Like, I played one of these races and it's just like, yeah, okay, I've seen this before and I don't really care. Like, I don't get any satisfaction out of trying to beat them again, and I don't know, like, it's just so disappointing. Like, everything about this game feels like they just half-assed it. Like, they took the easy route. They maybe had a great idea, maybe someone really wanted to try, but this game had to come out in 2011, so you just do barely any cutscenes, you just do barely any environments, you reuse the tracks all the time, you reuse in the finale the same junkyard that you already used in the beginning, because who cares? Players probably wouldn't notice because it's been like 90 minutes that you drove on this junkyard, so you probably forgot. And you don't put any effort into the story, into the character, and you don't put any effort into the presentation, and like everything about this feels so half-assed, just shitting it out, being like, yeah, you know, who cares? The next Need for Speed game will come out a year later, so people will buy it anyway. Great. Spiel ist abgeschmiert. How would I fix Need for Speed The Run? What would I need to make this a better game? Well, first of all, I would say the road should be interconnected. Like, of course, you don't need to make the entirety of USA an open world. Like, that's not what I'm saying. Even though that would be amazing. Like, the crew did it. It was pretty wild, honestly. I want to see the terrain evolving. I want it to be way longer. Like, maybe 6 hours, 7 hours. And I just want to drive. Yeah, you can still have breaks between them. But I want this to actually feel like a giant interconnected race and not just cut off sections of a race, you know? I want to see some of the other drivers again and again. I want to see how a mountainside evolves into like a countryside, and then how everything gets more snowy and you end up in like glacier and snowy mountains and stuff. And I would think that also enhances the replay value, because you could, after finishing the story, you could maybe offer a mode where you do the entire race without any breaks, just like maybe a 4-hour race without ever stopping. Like the crew did something like that with like 1-hour long races. I think that would be really cool. It would also be really cool for like speedrunners and stuff, would give you cool opportunities. And you definitely have to make Jack an actual character and deal way more with the mob stuff, like at least give a motivation and like give the main guy some voice lines. I want more interactive cutscenes. I think 3 are way too less of them, so at least like 6 or something like that. I don't want him to feel forced and unnatural. One in every chapter might feel like that, but I also think you could come up with way more interesting ideas, and they don't all have to be like crazy. Like maybe you do a funny one where you're on the toilet or something and you have to press A to piss or something, and then you get out and there's the police, so you have to sneak back to your car. I'm thinking of the Need for Speed movie, I guess, but that would be cool. It could work. I could totally see that. And also, yeah, like a toilet break would honestly make the game feel more immersive and stuff. I would appreciate that. And I would like the game to not just tell me what to do. I always have a fixed amount of enemies I have to overtake. The way starts, the game tells me overtake 10 enemies, and that's what I have to do. And if I don't do it, I fail and I have to try it again. And I would love some more wiggle room with that, to be like, able to like, hey, maybe this time I'll overtake 12 and in the next race I'll just overtake one guy less. You know what I mean? That would work with the interconnected road and the interconnected race, to genuinely just have like 200 actual competitors, because as is, it really just feels like crossing numbers or like making a number go smaller, and that's absolutely not satisfying. Like, every race of this would work on its own, so it doesn't really help feel connected, you know what I mean? And I would love a clearer focus on the event as a whole. Like, I would love some kind of moderator. Like, after every second race or something like that, you could cut to him. I'm thinking about the Need for Speed movie again. I know, but I loved that movie, and I feel like the Need for Speed movie is the Need for Speed The Run story, but way more refined and enjoyable. So yeah, cutting to the guy or girl maybe who invented this race, who's paying for it and who's pulling the strings behind it, and seeing him moderated maybe would be really cool. And I want to listen to his moderation as maybe like a podcast, like in the car, so that he's like telling you, oh, Jack just overtook a guy and it was really amazing. You don't have to overdo it. I don't need it in every race, but I want this to feel like an event, you know, because as is, it's just 210 random guys driving through the United States without a really clear reason to why this is happening. So yeah, that's something I could really see. And with these changes, I could totally see Need for Speed The Run to be something truly special. An absolute amazing piece of video game history that every racing game fan looks fondly back to. But as is, Need for Speed The Run is nothing more than a disappointing mess. And that's it. That's it. That's how they leave you. Just no cuddles afterwards. Just absolutely none. You finished? Go home. F off. Don't want to see you anymore. I don't like you. Never cared about you anyway. Just go. Program more roads!